Time it is. Woo! Get into it! Yes! Ooh, we're back with Storytime with Chris. Hi. The vocals. Oh my goodness. One of my old best friends just messaged me back. I'm gonna message him back when I am finished with this. But hi y'all. It's my favorite day of the week. It's Wednesday. Had a really great therapy session earlier today. And if you didn't know, one of the biggest comets that has ever bypassed Earth, which is called K2. The K2 comet is going to be slightly visible at a magnitude of, because human beings can see at a magnitude of 6, it's going to be at a magnitude of 10 and above. So if you have binoculars, if you have like something that is telescopic, telescope, amber spyglass, binoculars, you'll be able to see the comet. And it's going to peak at 11 tonight into the following early morning hours of 3 a.m. and so whatnot. And tonight is a super full moon in Capricorn. And no, I don't own the music that is being played in the background. Like I said, you do not have to watch these videos when they go live. Like, share, subscribe amongst with your friends as you will. And we are just going to dive in to the story because Kiki finally has a place to live. And now we're about to figure out how sis is thriving. I hope everybody is having a really good day. Genuinely, I mean that. One thing I will say, kids, for the kids that are watching, I have had... One thing I will say is, like, I am grateful for the love and friendships that I have in my current life. There are friends that I no longer talk to because of circumstances or disagreements or mutual disillusionment. I want to impart you on this. Just because people walk out of your life or you're no longer wanting them to be in your life does not mean that they were not there for a significant season or period. They are there to either teach you something or to help you grow. And you have to figure out which one is which. So I always try to impart onto people, like, even... And I was thinking about it. The reason why I bring this up is because I've been thinking about it all day. Is that, like, no matter who has come in and out of my life, I appreciate the time that they gave me. The good and the bad. And I still have love for them. Even people that have done me wrong, have said salacious stuff about me, or have done and said cruel things to me, I still have love for you. And honestly, if I'm going to be truthful, I don't know why. It's just in my spirit to just love people. Even people who do wrong. Or say things that are wrong. That's real. Period. Period! as they say on the TikToks. Period! Like, I love people. And people are not born to be mean or evil or mean-spirited. It's just, that's just how they are. And they can get better when we continue to try to love on them. But until they're ready to receive that love and that goodness, they won't change. So it doesn't bother me. And I was just thinking about people I used to kick it with and talk to, and the fact that I haven't talked to certain people in a long period of time. But it doesn't mean I love them any less or don't love them at all. I still love you. I'll say it to the camera. I love you. I wish you all the blessings that God and life has to offer. I hope the universe blesses you with abundance and goodness. That's the power of forgiveness. Because you're not forgiving people for their wrongs for them, you're doing it for you. So you can have peace in your mind, your spirit, whatever system of belief that you choose to connect yourself with. Forgiveness is powerful. It's a very underestimated gift. But without further ado, we will begin with Kiki's delivery service. Kiki opens a shop. 3 days have passed since Kiki the witch moved to the town of Koriko. Taking full advantage of Osono's advice to stay as long as she liked, Kiki holed up in the flower house. She sat in a daze on the edge of the bed, sometimes eating bits of the leftover lunch from her mother or the bread from Osono, even though she didn't have much appetite. As if her nerves were contagious, Gigi was glued to her side. Today, Kiki needed to go out to buy food, but she couldn't get herself to leave her room. The unending clamor of the city and the sight of the busy-looking people hurrying past her window scared her. Everything in this town seemed to operate in a mechanical way. The night she delivered the pacifier, she regained a bit of confidence. But by the next day, those feelings had completely vanished. All morning, Kiki repeated half-hearted excuses in her head. Well, because she could stay in the town and pretend to be human. Or if she swallowed her pride, she could even go home. But then I'll just be a snail stuck in my shell my whole life. Apologies to snails, but I don't want to be like that. Kokiri's broom stood in the corner of her room, and Kiki stared at it with one hand on her chest. This is no good. I need to find a job I can do. It's just like Mom said. In a big city, everyone is busy, and here I am in the middle of one. I deliver that pacifier. Maybe I can do more tasks like that. I'm good at flying. There might be lots of people who don't have time to run a little errand. As she thought about this, Kiki started to perk up. So when Osono came to check on her, she asked for her advice on her new idea. Deliver things? You mean like a transportation service? Osono asked, not quite understanding. Yes, but the things I transport wouldn't be big enough to call cargo exactly. Just lots of little things, sort of casual. Like, people could ask me for favors the same way they might ask their neighbor. There could be something. Come to think of it, that would help me out. Once the baby is born, it would be hard for me to run even a quick errand. Yeah, I think this'll be good. Osono leaned closer. But for such small things, it'd be difficult to set prices. What's your plan? Oh, just a little of whatever people have is fine. What do you mean? Sharing whatever you have. That's how we get by as witches. We make ourselves useful to people with whatever skills we have. And in return, people share what they have with us. It's what you call give and take. Without even realizing it, Kiki was starting to sound like Kokiri. Oh, now that you mention it, Osono said. I've heard of that before, but that won't be enough, will it? It will. Witches don't need much. You see how simple my clothes are, and I don't eat a lot. My plan is just to accept that if I don't have something, I probably don't need it. So that's how you'll make this work? Osono nodded, impressed. Then you'll need a storefront, huh? Yeah, something small, even just a sign that says courier or something. How about here? The first floor of the flower house, Osono offered. I can organize our things into one corner. What? Are you sure? Well, it might be too small, but it's smart to start small. Then you'll have to have fun of watching your business grow. Osono seemed so excited. It was almost as if she were the one opening the shop. Once you've decided it's best to get going right away, but courier might not be the best name. Sounds too much like warrior. I think you should call it a delivery service. I've heard that before, or something like speedy home deliveries. Because you deliver right to people's homes in a timely fashion. Also, since you're the one doing the deliveries, you should add your own name. Kiki's Delivery Service. Sounds good, right? Do you think including my name is a smart idea? Don't be modest. Having a unique name is best. Take a look at ours. Rock, paper, pastries. Sticks in your hand. That's one trick to doing business. Osono eyed Kiki and nodded confidently. The next day, Osono happily gave birth to a baby girl. Kiki was very busy helping with the bakery and looking after Osono, so prepping her shop was pushed off. Still, 10 days later, she was ready to open. She washed the flowery front wall and hung up a sign. Kiki's Delivery Service. I deliver anything door to door faster than anybody else. The cute phone number added below the sign was Osono's idea. Kiki and Gigi kept going outside to look up at the sign. We're already open, so I guess there's no point in worrying now, Kiki murmured to herself. That's right. Gigi did his best to be encouraging. Now where's that girl who was so excited about coming of age? Inside, Kiki had everything she needed to run her shop. Thanks to Osono's husband, he had moved all the bags of flour into a corner and built her a desk out of bricks and boards near the entrance. He put a brand new red telephone on top and hung a big map of Koriko on the wall facing it. They polished the pillar people would see them when they first walked into the shop till it shone, and then she hung her mother's broom there. Looking at it, she thought, I'm glad I didn't bring that new slender broom. I have enough worries without flying on a stranger. A whole week went by without a single customer. When Kiki went to visit the baby, Osono apologized. Maybe Maybe using your name wasn't a good idea. I'm sorry, this is all my fault. World travels fast here, and apparently some people heard you're a witch. Unfortunately, they'll worry you'll put a spell on their packages and they'll disappear or transform. I'm sure if they hired you once, they'd be hooked. If I could be out and about, I would help you. It's all right. I'm sure people will come around soon. Kiki forced a smile. When she sat at her desk, she was so upset she forgot to eat lunch. It makes me sad, she told Gigi. Why do they assume witches will do something wicked? Because they don't know better, he replied with a mature air. It's nothing you can fix. It's true. They really have the wrong idea. Witches have never done anything wrong. They might be different, but humans are so quick to decide that anything they don't understand is evil. Thought it was an old-fashioned idea, but... Which is very true. People fear what they don't understand, children. People would fear people that look like me, people who have my melanated skin, because they've never taken the time to talk to somebody who is black and brown. And so when you fear something, you tend to hate it, and that hate becomes aggression. Always learn to educate yourself about the shoes of another person. Always take the time to learn about other people rather than assume things about them. The more you know. So you have to show them. In other words, you need to advertise. Advertise how? Maybe write lots of letters. What kind of letters? Explaining how you're a cute, helpful little witch. That might work. Kiki finally brightened up a bit. I guess I'll try it. She stood and opened the window, and a gentle spring breeze blew in as if it had been waiting for the chance. When it brushed her face, all the tense feelings inside her melted away. She took a slow look around, like a mole that had just come out of its burrow, blinking in the sunlight. All the houses across the street had their windows wide open, too. Their curtains were tied back, allowing the sun to stream in. She heard the sound of a radio on the breeze and then someone's voice calling out. Suddenly, her eyes landed on the window of a building a short way down the street. A young lady was waving her hands. Here, over here, come over! She motioned incessantly, and no matter how Kiki looked at it, the gesture was directed at her. Me? She asked, pointing at herself. Yes! The lady nodded. Kiki quickly took in the view and counted. The lady was in a room on the second floor, 4 buildings over. When Kiki went inside and up the stairs, the door was already open, so she assumed she had the right to place. In the apartment, the waving lady stood in the front of a mirror, was putting on a red hat with one hand and holding a sky blue suitcase in the other. Oh, come in, she spotted rapidly when she noticed Kiki in the reflection. I heard about you from the baker. You deliver things? Yes, I do. She said you fly? Yes. Kiki lowered her eyes, worried the lady was going to complain. She said all you need in return is a little something. Kiki nodded. You sure are adorable, though. I always thought witches had fangs and horns. She sounded surprised, but her expression was bored. Kiki nearly shouted, That's not a nice thing to say, but managed to catch herself. The woman must have noticed her reaction. Sorry, it's just that we've never had a witch in this town, you know. At least I haven't seen one before, and they're always so scary in stories. By the way, how many counts as a little thing? If you fly, it must be expensive. No, just a little of whatever you have is enough. What I have? Or half of what? I mean, I'm a seamstress, so I can half the length of your skirt. I'm taking up and letting down hems all the time. The lady turned around for the first time and looked Kiki up and down, wrinkling her nose. She shook her head, clucking her tongue in disapproval. That dress is cute, but it's a bit long, isn't it? The style these days is to show your knees. Ah, yes, that's the perfect trade. I'll be back in 3 days and then I'll take your hem up. Why don't we have that be your fee? I don't even know what I'm delivering yet, and you're already deciding the fee? Kiki stood there, frowning a little. The lady looked in the mirror, pinned on her hat, and spoke even faster than before. I got called by a client far away and have to race over there. Once she decides she wants a dress, she needs me to come right away. So impatient. Excuse me. The lady pointed at a birdcage covered in white lace sitting on a table. This is a present for my nephew's 5th birthday, and I'd like you to deliver it for me. He said he wanted a new birdcage and a stuffed toy. He made me promise I'd deliver it today by 4 o'clock. If it's even a little late, he said he'll make me do 94 headstands. Just try doing that many. You'll forget which end is your head and which is your feet. There's only an hour left. Don't be late. I'm begging you. The address is 10 Apricot Street. If you go up the river, it's the road behind the big flower shop on the outskirts of town. The name, they'll understand if you say Buzzcut Buster. Okay, thanks in advance. When she finished her mile-a-minute explanation, she rushed Kiki out of the apartment, handing her the covered birdcage with the stuffed toy, and then left herself. Kiki flipped up the lace and looked inside the cage. Oh, Gigi, it looks just like you! How adorable! Sitting on a silver cushion inside the cage was a stuffed black cat with a mint green ribbon tied in a big bow around its neck. Kiki put her broomstick through the handle of the birdcage so it was positioned right behind her and her radio. Keep a close eye on it, she told Gigi as she sat him on the broom's bristles. Then she zoomed off. Been a while since we've flown, Kiki exclaimed. It feels good. The sun was already shining brightly in the western part of the sky. Now and then the wind flicked up in the lace covering the cage, and Gigi stared in it. Look at him wearing a ribbon all fancy like, he grumbled. Then a moment later he muttered to himself, perched on that thing. Oh, do you want a cat cushion too? Kiki turned around and smiled at him. How are you jealous of a stuffed animal that can't even move around? Gigi ignored her and slowly crept closer to the cage. Then he extended a paw and pulled it closer with his claws. The broom jolted with a wobble. Now hold still, Kiki yelled. Gigi pricked his ears up and pulled his paw back to his mouth. Excuse me. My apologies. Gigi pricked his ears up and pulled his paw back to his mouth. Gigi, do you want to go in the cage? Seriously? I mean, it's so pretty. Gigi, sometimes I can't believe we're the same age. She smiled at how ridiculous he was being. The broom began to fly smoothly again, but as if he had been waiting for that moment, Gigi swiftly clawed the door open and tried to climb into the cage. The broom wobbled horribly. Ah! Kiki rushed to grab the broom, but before she had the chance, the stuffed cat slipped out of the open cage. Oh no! It didn't matter if she screamed or reached out her hand, it was too late. The stuffed toy spun like a black pinwheel as if it fell from the sky. Kiki immediately swooped after it. The leafy green forest below grew closer and closer until Kiki plunged in, tree branches whipping her body. Eventually, she found a little clearing and touched down. She got straight to searching, waving her broom to look through the bushes and tall grasses as she walked along. But she couldn't find the cat. The forest was huge and the trees were covered in soft leaves. If the toy had gotten caught in the canopy of tangled branches above, she would never be able to find it. On top of that, the stuffed animal was light, so the wind could have blown it in an entirely different direction. Kiki wanted to cry. That lady had believed in her, though it was the first time they'd met and trusted her with this important delivery. This was Kiki's first customer since the shop opened, and the job was going to end in failure. So there is our stuffed cat, falling down through the sky. It was almost 4 o'clock. Kiki glared at Gigi, who was hunched over with guilt. What am I going to do with you? Almost immediately, she gasped. Oh, I thought of a great idea, Gigi. You get in the cage instead. Gigi gazed up and backed away, shaking his head. You were the one who wanted to go inside. Just get in there. We're out of time. Kiki raised her voice and pointed at the cage, her eyebrows angled in a way that meant business. There it is. Gigi raced into the cage and sat on the silver cushion, which was still inside. Kiki closed the door and spoke gently. It's just for a little while. As soon as I find the toy, I'll come back and swap you out. He looked up at her with regret in his eyes. So I'm a stuffed animal now? That's right. I can't meow? Nope, just go to sleep. That'll be the easiest. Can I breathe? As little as possible. This is horrible. I'm up against Buzzcut Buster. That lady said he would make her do 94 headstands. You'll be fine. I'll come back for you as soon as I can. Gigi sighed, curled up into a sad little ball, and turned away from Kiki. This time she carefully hung the birdcage in front of her before taking off in a hurry. Kiki flew along the river, checking the names of the streets at each intersection, and she had no trouble finding 10 Apricot Street behind the flower shop. When she rang the doorbell, she heard thudding footsteps, then the door swung open. Auntie! Standing in front of Kiki was a boy with 1 bandage on his cheek, 1 on his nose, 2 on his forehead, and 3 on his knees. I'm sorry your aunt couldn't come, but I came into her place. Here are the presents she promised you. Happy birthday! When the boy took the cage, she peered inside right away and then started jumping up and down, holding it tight. Through a gap in the lace, Kiki could see Gigi bouncing around inside with a grimace on his face. Oh, hey! Kiki quickly said. Be nice to the kitty, okay?
I will. I'll take good care of him. I'll fold him up properly and put him in my pocket.
The boy stuck his tongue out. A pitiful noise sounded from inside the cage. Well, see you later, Kiki waved to the boy.
Oh, will you have something else for me?
Well, perhaps. And with that, she mounted her broom and raced off. When Kiki returned to the clearing, she realized the forest was actually part of a park. She took another careful walk around the area where the stuffed toy had fallen, but she couldn't find it anywhere. At this rate, she worried Gigi would remain with the buzzcut buster forever. He would never come home, even though they just started life on their own as a pair. Dusk approaching, Kiki leaned against a tree. At wit's end, she looked and clutched the skirt of her dress. The best option I have is to cut off the hem of my dress and make a stuffed black cat myself. I always wanted a shorter skirt, so I guess it's worth a try. Just then, she faintly heard someone singing. The bad black is a smoky black, the good black is a black cat black, but the best of all is a witch's black. Blacks come in all different various hues, so come on now, you have to choose. Startled, Kiki whirled about and spotted a cottage beyond the tree she was been leaning against. Behind a section of the hedge that had grown wild, this cottage window was open and a woman with her hair tightly pulled back faced away from Kiki, painting a picture. Maybe she saw something. I'll go ask. Kiki made her way through a gap in the hedge and crossed the flowering lawn to approach the house. When she peeked through the window to call out to the woman, she realized that the woman's picture was cat-shaped. With a start, she looked beyond the painting and gasped. It was the stuffed animal she had lost. The woman heard her and turned around. Face to face, they both shrieked. Ah! Oh, that you... Oh, whew. Oh, good. They both sighed in unison. Whew. I'm so glad I found it. What? What? The two eyed each other puzzled. For me, it's that black cat toy. For me, it's you. A girl in such a wonderful black dress. Their voices overlapped, and their sentences meshed into nonsense. For me, it's that black girl, Wonder Cat dress toy. Kiki finally composed herself and asked the woman clearly, Did that stuffed cat fall out of the sky by any chance? The woman looked at Kiki curiously. I don't know if it rained out of the sky or welled up out of the ground, but I found it in the forest a little while ago. I've been searching for a good black to paint for my exhibition. The real blackest black, you know? If possible, a witch's black. I'm just making it do with the stuffed animal for right now. The woman stopped talking, but when she ran her eyes over the broom Kiki was holding, she yelped, Could it be that you're yes, I'm a witch. The moment Kiki responded, the woman practically jumped out of the window to grab her hand. If you like, the woman said, I'll give you this cat back, but would you come inside and sit for me? I was even thinking about moving because I heard there hadn't been a witch in this town for ages, and now a witch has come to me. Come and sit down. Kiki was nearly swept up by the woman's momentum, but she flailed and said, I will. Just not right now. If I can have that toy, I'll bring it back a real black cat, a witch's black cat. Then you can paint both of us. Really? For sure. Kiki shouted with a nod. Once she had the stuffed toy in hand, she rushed off without looking back. It's a promise, then! The woman called after her. By the time Kiki reached Buzzcut Buster's house, it was completely dark inside. Kiki tiptoed up to each lit window and peeked inside. Oh, there's Gigi. He was in bed with Buzzcut Buster, who hugged him tightly. Gigi was far from properly folded. He was crumpled. His face was turned toward his back, clamped down by the boy's head, and his stomach was being crushed by the boy's arm. On his nose, he had a bandage that matched Buzzcut Buster's. Kiki quietly opened the window, stood on her toes, and pulled Gigi's tail. Gigi didn't move. He kept his promise and truly transformed into a stuffed animal. The back of Kiki's nose stung as she held back tears of gratitude. What a precious friend he is. Gigi, she called in a low voice. He slowly opened one eye. Kiki set the toy on the boy's stomach and whispered, Hurry! Gigi slipped away from the boy and bounced like a ball into Kiki's arms. She couldn't tell if he was laughing or crying, but he was purring deep in his throat. How wonderful it is to breathe freely, to be able to move! Gigi looked around with renewed curiosity as he and Kiki flew through the sky. About that, Kiki said without looking at him. Sorry, but there's something I need your help with. This time you don't have to pretend to be a stuffed animal, though. You can laugh, cry, whatever you like. That'll be a piece of cake, then. Gigi nodded as if he understood everything perfectly. But when the painter sat Kiki and Gigi down next to each other, she ordered, "Straighten up, Mr. Witchcat. Curl your tail and make a serious face. Okay, good. Now hold your breath. Just like that. Just like that. Don't move." Gigi bristled angrily. That only made the painter shriek with delight. "Oh, fantastic! That's a witch's cap for you. Just like that. Just like that." And she's painting. As Kiki sat there prim and proper, she was thrilled. "There's another person who likes me." That night, Kiki wrote her first letter to Okino and Kokuri. Excuse me, y'all. Oh, excuse me. I had to get up early this morning. Oh, excuse me.
I decided to live in a place called Koriko. It's a big town near the sea. At first I thought it might be too big, but it turned out to be perfect for the type of work I started to do. I started my own business, Kiki's Delivery Service.
She wrote about everything she had happened so far, leaving out the moments where she felt discouraged, of course. She ended her letter with this.
The seamstress said she would have half the length of my skirt, but I think I'm going to have her make a silver cushion for Gigi. Next time I'll send a picture of his calm face. We're having fun, so please don't worry. Take care, both of you. Bye for now.
And that is where we will end for today. She's so enchanting. All you gotta do is continue to believe in yourself, and the universe will present you with opportunity, y'all. Shout out to my friend Jean, Debbie, and Aaron for watching. Appreciate y'all so very much. I will see you all next time. Be good to each other.